In this video, we're going to be doing an in-depth comparison of the Bissell Cleanview Bagless and the Bissell Cleanview 2 Bagless. To get started with today's video, I would like to state that this is a plus model, unlike this just being a regular model. So this is a more deluxe machine. Now, if I had a normal Cleanview 2, which is basically identical to this, besides for the filtration setup, I would be using that right now. But since this machine is near identical, besides for having a turbo tool and a Y-track base, I'm going to use this because they're basically the same machine. That's what I normally do in my videos, and that's with the base. So obviously, this, like I stated before, this is a Y-track base and this is a square base. If I had a normal style Cleanview 2, this would be a square base. They did make models of the Cleanview that had a base like this, although they are very rare nowadays. But aside from that, you do have a standard 7 height adjustment dial on both of these, and they are both 12 amp and they both feature dual edge cleaning. This machine, they're on the bottoms of these machines, again, they're virtually identical, besides for this one being a Y-track base. But one thing I would like to point out is that the base plates of these are held in differently. This one is held in with screws, while this one is held in with clips. Now, the clips on this one are basically broken. I believe the base plate is cracked too. So I'm holding mine in with some screws, although that is not factory, and that is just something I did. This one just has the standard headlight, while this one has the wide beam version. The dust containers and the filtration setup. So, over here, we have a little sponge filter that's in a tray that pulls out. The Cleanview 2 does not have that. Both bins release with a little lever right here, and they just pull out. That's the same on both models. Pulled out, we can see that this one has an upper tank filter. Again, it's made of the same material as that one, and this piece here is not removable this way. This one has a cyclone that is removable, but there is no filter inside. Bins. Now we can see that this one is a lot shorter than this one, because this one contains a whole filter setup down in here. Both of them have the same Easy Empty Dirt Container sticker, although the 8990 model of the original Cleanview had a clear Easy Empty Dirt Container sticker and was completely different. Most of the Cleanview 2 have this orange sticker. For the bins, we can see that both of them have a pretty similar little instruction guide to cleaning your filters, although this one's yellow and this one's green. What makes this bin so much taller? Well, you can twist the top piece and remove it to reveal a small filter setup. Again, twist out, which I need to do with two hands, and removes very easily. It contains two parts: the outer circular filter, which is easily removable, and then a pleated style filter, but I don't believe it's HEPA. This is the most prominent difference between these two machines, and it is the main reason why the original Cleanview fails so much more than the Cleanview 2. To better help you understand this, I'm going to describe the air path on both of these machines. Now, on both of them, obviously, there's a rotating brush, and the dirt comes up this way through a tube. It comes up the tube. On both of them, it goes all the way up through the hose and into the dirt container through here. It gets different. So obviously, on both of the machines, it'll fly in through this way and drop down into the dust container. But on this machine, a lot of dirt can get in through these little pleats right here. Don't know if you can see them. And then it covers this filter. It is extremely thin, and it's the only thing stopping dust from getting into the motor. It makes it through these pleats and then makes it through this filter, which, trust me, it's a lot. It will then go up through this tube into this tube, which heads down to this filter. It is not stopping much, so most of the dust would also pass through this. So through here, it's heading straight into the motor. See, the filtration setup on this machine is very poor. Cleanview 2, once it heads in through here, it also has the same pleated design. Dust would just go straight through this pleated thing, just like on the original Cleanview. Dirt going into this and probably going through it, it will go down the center, and since it's set up like this, it will go down this tube, through the bottom of the dirt bin, and hit this filter. The filter is a lot more efficient than these two, as it has two layers of filtration, one of them being a very good material, though the outer circular filter is made of the same material as these two. Dust made it through here, which unfortunately would still be a lot of fine dust would make it through here, but a lot of coarse debris would be stopped if this filter was placed in correctly. The dust would come out through this hole. This little tray sat on here, and obviously it would be attached to the bin, but like I said, all the dust will come through this hole and it'll face the final obstacle, this little coarse filter right in here. Now, this would not unfortunately stop most fine dust. It would just pass right through here, but most coarse debris, as you can see, would get stopped, and this prevented a lot of dust from getting through the motor. Once it passes this, it'll just go straight into that hole, which goes straight to the motor. So even though both of these filtration setups are absolutely horrible and are definitely not a modern bagless design, this machine is far more effective at capturing the dust than the original Cleanview was. This led to a lot more Cleanview 2s surviving than original Cleanviews, and it actually makes even the most common models of original Cleanview pretty hard to find nowadays, as they are approaching around 23 years old. It's basically the entire bagless setup. So on to the other differences. Like I said before, both of the bins release with a lever. Now, inside the bin, you can see here, there's just 3 little pegs sticking up. And on this model, there's also 3 pegs, but there is a tube for the filtration setup. Here we see another difference. This model just has an advertising sticker, while this version comes with a turbo tool. To state that some versions of the Cleanview 2 Plus came with an advertising sticker and had no turbo tool, but the turbo tool versions are a lot more common than the advertising sticker versions. And just like with this, there was also some versions of the Cleanview that had a turbo brush. The 975, like this one, never had a turbo brush. See, the handles are basically the same, but the Cleanview is shorter than the Cleanview 2. Both of them have the same foot pedal, but the wheels are styled differently. With the filters, this one has a standard just foam filter in there, although some of these, again, had a HEPA filter, while this one has a HEPA filter in it. Now, this one is actually disgusting, although you can put a HEPA filter in this one if you want to. So I believe the original Cleanview 2 did have a foam filter like this one. Up here, we have the same power switch. These machines, we have the rating stickers, which this one is a 8975 from the 334th day of 2003. And I will insert a little text with the model number of this machine, although I do not know when this was made. I do remember somebody telling me, and I believe that this one is a 2007. I do have a spot for a dusting brush, although mine went missing. Mine never came with one. The original Cleanview dusting brushes are different, and I'll insert a picture of one if I can find one. They're extremely hard to find now and are very expensive if you can find one new. This one just has the standard Bissell combination tool. And extension wands. The extension wands are identical, although the crevice tools are different. This one has the ventilated crevice tool with the little notch here. This one has the cheaped out crevice tool without the notch. And I believe the original Cleanview 2 did have this crevice tool, although I could be wrong on that. Hoses, we got the same clear pipe leading up to the connection point, and then it has the same handle. I believe the one, yep, probably is the same height. This one has a clear stretch hose, and only some models of the Cleanview original had the deluxe clear stretch hose. This one is not one of those models and has what, in my opinion, is the nicer non-clear stretch hose. This one doesn't show as much filth as this one does. Sorry to interrupt, but I did miss some things. On here, we do actually have a swivel neck. Now, this thing is really hard to swivel. I barely counts as a swivel. This one has no swivel. As we can see back here, this one's got a little notch here. And when we turn it like that, able to remove this entire assembly, oh my god, for cleaning. It doesn't have a switch like that because you actually can't pull this front piece off. The same carrying handle. We do have a different clip for the hoses. This one just kind of sits in, and this one is an actual clip. And then we do have the same cord clip. We have the same handle. For the machine, we do have, again, different wheels. And then we have the cords. I believe this one does have a longer cord than this one, although I could be wrong. And then they both have the same older style strain relief. And then finally, they do both have a turn down cord hook. That's all the main differences on these machines physically. So let's get on to the performance test. So I laid down some shredded paper. Again, this isn't going to be a very harsh mess test because I don't think these machines are going to pick up a lot. But yeah, we're going to start with the Cleanview 2 and then we're going to end on this one. Now, before we start, I would like to give a headphone warning when I run this machine, the 8975. This thing still has its original motor in it. The motor is very shot and very loud because, like I said, the filtration on these is absolutely horrible, and unfortunately this motor has suffered over 20 years of abuse. But first we're going to start with a somewhat healthy motor. I mean, this motor's fine. The Cleanview 2, and unfortunately none of the headlights work on these. I think this one I've never seen work, and then this one burned out on me. But if you would like to see this headlight work, go tune into the acquisition video of this. But anyways, let's get started. 3, 2, 1. This one didn't do too bad. Again, pretty average for a Bissell, especially one that's old. It looked like it got kind of clogged and shredded up some paper. I don't know if there's a clog in here. I'll have to look later. But we can see the line of shame, which is where the belt cover thingy is. But yeah, this one didn't do bad. It's average for a Bissell. Alright, now I'm literally just going to run this one for one pass. And then I'm done because my ears are going to just be destroyed. But anyways, I get the paper off of it. This is the Cleanview Bagless A975 in 3, 2, 1. Oh, well, yeah, this thing needs a new motor. Oh, bad. But that actually did very well. It did the same thing where it kind of grabbed some paper. I don't know if you were able to see it. It kind of grabbed some paper and tore it up. But this one actually did better than that. But I'm not cleaning all this up with this machine. You know what? Should I? Should I? Okay, fine. I'm good. So, Cleanview Bagless. I don't know how long I'll be able to run this for before the motor probably just destroys itself. But this thing's getting a new motor soon anyway, so I don't really care. But anyways, Cleanview Bagless in 3, 2, 1. Wasn't bad. That was usable. If this was my only vacuum, I could suffer. But I'm not going to use it because I have over 150 vacuums. But that did great. It picked up everything. It performed amazing. So I'm going to assume, I thought the suction on this would be horrible, but it's definitely less than it should be. But wow, that performed amazing. So I guess we should probably have a look at the filters and see how much shredded paper, which is huge, got through. So, first when we open this, again, decent amount of shredded paper in there. That seems like most of it. Nothing in here. How about in this upper tank? A little bit of crap. I don't know if that was there before. And nothing in here. So this machine did perfect. I mean, for one use, these filters shouldn't even be dirty, but somehow they are. I don't know if you're going to be able to see them on here. With the flash on, you may be able to tell that these are pretty dirty, but yeah, that did fine. That's very impressive. Brings us to the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I'm actually very, very surprised that Cleanview 1 did as well as it did. But yeah, thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.